Hi. Just reading, light reading here. Hi, my name's Joe. Joe Lyons. Joseph Lyons, if you'd like. Most people call me Joe. And I'm a potter, ceramic artist, and I've been playing with clay, making pots for a while now, over a decade. Taking it seriously for that long. I first took a pottery class when I was a little kid. My mom put me and my sister in a class at a community center, and I remember enjoying the wheel. I had a lemon juicer that I had kept for a long time. I mean, don't know what happened to it, but and I just remember the woman helping me make that on the wheel. It was probably 8 or 9, and then I remember as well taking clay back with me and working on this dragon sculpture that I made. And I think that early connection with clay as a medium that just kind of let me kind of work with my hands, make small details, and kind of just really, it was all about imagination. And that was a while ago. But I hold that memory close, sometimes. It was like an early introduction into the clay world. And I picked it back up when I was an adult. I was a bartender, and I had a fairly, stressful, not so fulfilling job. And so I was told by a friend to take pottery class at Pottery Northwest in Seattle. And I took a wheel class, the intro class, and I took it 3 or 4 times in a row until they told me to take the intermediate class. And I had various instructors, and I really just enjoyed the time there. We had a lot of access to that studio. It's a wonderful studio in downtown Seattle, right by the Space Needle. And it was great. It's still great. And so I had a lot of access, and I could come in and make things during the day and go to class at night. And I totally just saw it as a hobby, a way to relax and chill out and just do something fun, And I did that for a while, and then I started doing work up there, and so helping load kilns, and then I didn't have to pay for classes anymore. They told me that's what I should do, so I did it. And I didn't really realize how rich of a place that was until I moved on to other places. And there's a really strong ceramic culture there with a lot of different artists doing a lot of different things with clay. And so anyhow, that was my kind of reintroduction as an adult. And again, it was just a hobby. It was just for fun. And then I moved to Kauai in 2011. And I didn't really have any high hopes of ceramics still at that time. I was more interested in DJing and food and culinary arts, being a bartender and stuff. And I came into the studio, Lightwave Pottery in Kauai, in Kapaa, the east side of Kauai, and I met Dean McCrane, and I asked him if I could make some stuff, and he said, sure, just give me some money, and so I did. And I eventually, after probably, a year, I would say, I became his apprentice. And that was a turning point for me. I love and respect him very much, his art and who he is, and it was just a wonderful opportunity to learn about the craft and the trade from a professional. And so that's what I did, and I started selling my work in his gallery, and then selling my work in the Kapaa Street Market was one of the first ones I did, and then the Honolulu Farmers Market, and then Waipaw Farmers Market, and it kind of just transitioned from something I loved that gave my life meaning into kind of everything, and that's still the truth today, 6, 7, 8 years later. And so I worked for Dean, and then I moved to Vancouver Island in 2016, November 8th, 2016, for some odd reason, and came up here and got into VIU, Vancouver Island University, and I just graduated just not so long ago from there with an arts degree. And VIU was wonderful. It gave me time and space to learn about art, history, and learn about different mediums. And I spent a lot of time in the ceramic studio. Um, People used to ask me if I lived in there, if I slept in the back, and I never did that, but I did spend a lot of time there. And had some great professors, and especially Scott Leaf, because he's a ceramics professor there. And I just it was a really wonderful time for me. Challenging, school's work, but I made a lot of great connections, and I learned a lot, and I'm grateful that I got to go to school here and graduate. And so what I do today and what I've been doing for a while now is teaching intro and intermediate ceramics at Bowen Park in Nanaimo, and most notably Nanaimo Ceramic Arts in downtown Nanaimo. I've been a part of the team there since we opened in May of 2018, working for Bronwyn Arundel. She's a wonderful mentor and boss and guide for me as an emerging artist, and I'm really grateful for that influence in my life. And I love teaching. I absolutely love it. My students will say that I'm like their cheerleader, and as sad as that is, it's true. Not much of a cheerleader, but I do like encouraging people. Not so long ago, one of my students was like, "Oh, I get you. You'll tell me good job no matter what I do." And I do, I believe in that reinforcement, because I know from my experience that the work is the reward, the process is the reward. The end result, sometimes it's delightful when work comes out of the kiln, but more often, it's, for me personally, it's sitting down at the wheel that is it's like this perfect combination of grounding and inspiring and relaxing, and all of those sensations I experience when I'm at the wheel pretty exclusively. And so I do encourage that process with my students. And I play music, notoriously have Hawaiian style music on in the background, and just try to joke around and laugh as much as I can. I really believe that a positive learning environment encourages people to want to come back and feel safe and participate. And to me, one thing I learned being a DJ and being in a hip hop band when I was a teenager and in my early 20s was that hip hop culture to me is about participation. If you want to be a fan and be in the audience, that's totally acceptable. That's wonderful. I'm a fan of a lot of artists and musicians and people. I always will be. But I also really believe in participation. And I've just seen, what I've loved to have been a part of and witness over the years of teaching is that almost invariably people in the beginning struggle a little bit with the wheel. It's a little bit challenging and frustrating. They'll watch me do a demo because I've been doing pots for a while now, and it looks kind of easy. They'll say that universally, as well as they'll make the reference to that movie Ghost, but that's a whole other story. I mean, we don't have to talk about that, okay? Gosh, but they'll say, "Oh, it looks so easy," and then they'll try, and it's not so easy. I certainly experienced that back in Potty Northwest, and that's why I just kept trying. And but I've universally seen how people, students, will kind of get it and start to feel comfortable and confident after 3-4 weeks, and then they will start to really express themselves, their personal expression. Ceramics is, there's so many different forms and shapes it can take, and just what you make, but then how you decorate it, that it really becomes your own personal work, influenced by others certainly, but that's what makes me the most excited, I think, is watching people, and I've seen it so many times, where they really get comfortable and confident, and then they start to develop their own sense of style. And that's where I just kind of go, yeah, I don't have to, because as a teacher, I think it's my responsibility to try to teach as much technical skill, but when it comes to artistic choices, I really hold fast with, I don't know how I can guide you in that direction. I kind of, that's for you to really find your voice and then share your voice. That's kind of my philosophy. But yeah, I think one of the questions I got sent by Kathy was that what is an artist's role in society? And that's a heck of a question. I feel really lucky that I can do what I love doing, and something that really just makes me feel so great, mostly about myself and about connecting with other people in a meaningful way. And that to me is kind of my role, is to share in that joy of creating with other people as much as I can, and build community around this medium. Ceramics has always been a community medium. It always has been. Always has been. I was reading a book right now called The White Road by Edmund DeWall, and it's about the Chinese kind of history of porcelain. I'm a third into it or something, but in the ceramics capital culturally and production-wise, historically in China and Jingdezhen, people would specialize in each step of the ceramic process, and so one of his points in the book, which I found interesting, was that how many hands made this cup or this bottle or whatever it is, and many, 10, 20, from all the steps that go into ceramics. Increasingly, a lot of ceramic artists try to do every single part, except for maybe manufacturing the clay. But I know that's what we do, and then Iowa Ceramic Arts is, we from beginning to end, including taking a picture of this and putting it on Instagram, and then hopefully bringing it to whoever, to purchase. So yeah, it's to have that creative control is something that I like. I really just still love throwing and decorating, and I like loading kilns. I like glazing my work. And I do love working with others. And I don't think, somebody asked me where would I like to be in 10 years? And without hesitation, I said, well, right here on Vancouver Island, hopefully in this area. I like Nanaimo. I like Ladysmith too. And, that would make me happy, I think, from where I sit in this really comfortable chair, by the way, reading my dictionary of art, as one does, that if I was right here teaching and making pots, I think that would just really make me happy. It makes me happy now. I don't want to be the artist that works by himself or herself off in the, way out and only comes into contact with people sometimes. I don't think that would be fulfilling for me. I like my quiet alone time, contemplative time when I'm creating. I value that. It's really vital. But I also really enjoy the social work of clay that has become a big part of my practice. That term was introduced to me by Scott Leaf at VIU, where I got accepted in the social work program because I really wanted to help people that struggle with certain issues that are near and dear to my heart. And he just was like, hey, you can do social work with clay. And that was a kind of a turning point for me to understand that. And I don't think I'm a social worker, don't get me wrong, but I know that like I said earlier, clay is a way for me to connect with people in a meaningful way. And I really value that. And I've built community and built relationships with people because of this medium. And I find that very valuable to me and hopefully to them as well. And it's led me here, to where I'm at right now. So, which is a good place. So, I'm grateful.